Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Rise and Shine, and we're coming to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. It's time for some very serious conversations here on Rise and Shine this morning. Of course, we'd encourage you to send us WhatsApp and text messages to make your contributions for the conversations we'll be bringing on the floor. Now we are looking at election countdown. Several conversations on that theme. There's a lot of things we're going to look at. We're looking at the strength of the four quote and unquote major political parties in these elections tomorrow. Insecurity and this election, what are the expectations? INEC and PVCs, what is the stand? Of course, we've already brought you several conversations on the stand of INEC, but we're going to go in depth with it, and we're talking money crisis and voter apathy. These are the things that we're going to be looking at under the election countdown, and we have reputable people in our studios to make to have that conversation with us. First on the panel this morning is Barrister Imo Akpan, who is a legal practitioner here on set with us this morning. Good morning, Barrister. Good to have you on the show.
Good morning. A pleasure to be here.
We also have joining us virtually Victor Anilaju, who is the founder, EPE, and presidential aspirant in the 2023 elections. He'll be joining us virtually. To have this conversation this morning. But right now, we'll just start with Barrister, who is here on set as we wait for Victor Anilaju to join us virtually. A lot of things are happening. Well, when we say tension, a lot of expectation is building. That's a better word. A lot of expectation is building towards the general election tomorrow. And just generally, what are your thoughts as a general countdown? What are your thoughts towards tomorrow?
Well, I think the build-up is basically a climax of what we've looked forward to in the last 4 years. Thankfully, we're at the point where Nigerians have always expected that they would have the opportunity of taking a decision as to where this nation will be headed in the next 4 years. And we salute INEC's preparedness for the exercise. I think thus far, there have not been any major hitches in terms of INEC's readiness to go on with the exercise. The only glitches we've had is with respect to the decision on cash swap, the policy enunciated by the Central Bank of Nigeria. That is the only thing that has come to tinker a bit with the readiness of Nigerians to engage in more detail and then participate, more in the process. I see people having difficulties with mobility, with availability of resources to get things done, get around preparations to participate in the exercise. In fact, I have received calls of people who said, well, we have come all the way to the city center. How do we get to our various communities? We need cash to be able to commute down to our villages, to our polling centers, and so on and so forth. Since you can't have, you can't vote online, you can't vote otherwise than by being physically present at the voting point, at the polling units. So, save for those very obvious and apparent hitches here and there, I think that INEC is prepared. I'm aware that the sensitive materials had been deployed from all the central banks where they were kept for safety, and have been distributed to all the local government headquarters. So by the close of today, those materials should get to at least the ward centers or the rack centers, where they can also be further secured. And then by tomorrow morning, which is the election proper, it should kickstart the process of actual balloting.
Okay, so that's like a really nice rundown of the expectation. We also see that so far we have seen like a spate of security agencies coming into different states. Now it's louder in some states than it is in some other states. I know like you come from the city center, so maybe you can give us an overview of what it is like in New York currently with regards to the presence of forces now, military, police. We're talking even customs, because we have where they have deployed all the hands of those across different forces in the nation right now. Now, when we are looking at security with regards to countdown towards the elections. What are your thoughts and expectations for these security agencies as we get into the election in about 21 hours?
Well, but basically the idea is to ensure that this exercise is conducted in a free and fair manner and under an atmosphere that is devoid of threats to safety of lives and properties, and also disruption of the exercise. Coming from the city center this morning, I haven't seen any unusual presence of security personnel, but I'm sure that there's going to be a massive deployment of security personnel across all the services: civil defense, the police, the military, the immigration, and so on and so forth, just to be able to ensure that at least there is that presence in all the polling units across the country. It is necessary to do that because there are certain flashpoints in this country where you expect greater security presence, not just to ensure safety of lives and properties, but to contain, growing tensions and attacks on individuals. We've seen what is happening in the southeast. Today you hear someone has been beheaded, candidates have been killed, so and so person has been kidnapped. They have been attacked on INEC formations, security vehicles, and
so you are of the opinion that areas where we have like insecurity, like they're like hot spots for insecurity at this time, should have the deployment.
No, definitely you're going to have greater deployment. You're also going to have greater mobilization because it is different. I don't know what parameters the security agencies will be deploying or will be using, but I expect that where you have the usual cases of this recurrence of security threats and breaches, you will definitely have a greater detachment of armed personnel, as opposed to areas where you have relative peace and safety. You just need people to ensure that there is some kind of order and peace maintained in the polling unit. So, like I said, in the southeast, definitely you're going to have a lot of armed personnel. You're going to have a lot of deployment of people of the secret services for intelligence gathering and so on and so forth. We have seen the arrest of one of the sponsors and financiers of the activities of the IPOB. Somebody, I think he was arrested by the Interpol in Finland. So it just shows that there is a coordinated effort to ensuring that we have peaceful elections. Nigerians should be able to approach the polling units devoid of unnecessary influence and threats. We should be able to conduct and pull through this process in an atmosphere of peace.
Okay, let me even ask this question, because when you say that there's a lot of security presence just to bring about a peaceful, elections and all of that, it makes me begin to wonder, is that not going to cause some kind of fear, in the atmosphere, which will, indirectly cause a lot of voter apathy? Because with what we are seeing in Lagos, a lot of armored cars and armored tankers, plying the streets of Lagos, all in the show of force, according to what the military is saying, to guard against some unscrupulous elements trying to scuttle things during the elections. But is it what it's supposed to be, during elections, that we have all of this security, very heavy security presence during the elections?
Well, it's necessary that you have some display of security presence, very overt display of security presence, so that those who have plans of thwarting the process, that message is sent that, look, this is not the best time for you to rear your head. And it is also to assure voters that your safety is guaranteed. You can come out and vote without threats to your life and to your safety. But you see, it works in two ways. You wake up in the morning and you discover that there are security patrols all over your street or all over your neighborhood. There are people who immediately become fearful that, oh, there is imminent danger. That is why you have these security patrols. But it's good that in public enlightenment, people are made to know that these people are not coming for combat. They are not coming for war. they're actually coming to reassure you that your safety is guaranteed and you are secured, so you can go out and then carry out your civic responsibility.
Okay, so let's just put a pause on you there. I think our virtual guest is ready now for us. Good morning, Victor Anilaju.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right, thank you for joining us as well. We're just talking about security in different parts of the country as a build-up to the elections now. I know that you're in Lagos, and there's been a lot of armored tankers seen on the streets of Lagos. What's the atmosphere like at the moment?
Well, the atmosphere in Lagos is a little bit okay, right? I would say Lagosians were used to seeing such armored tanks. Were used to seeing military personnel around, especially in time like this, right? So I think Lagos is relatively peaceful at this time, apart from the scarcity of cash and fuel. Then I think the presence of the army actually have helped us to overcome the threat from APC. So you don't see the APC touts, going about as they always do before, threatening the Eastern people, telling them that if they don't vote for their person, they're going to send them packing. So I think that have reduced, but they are still doing it. I heard yesterday in some market area, they had to go and ask some persons to close down their businesses because they want to do their campaign. But it was not as forceful as it used to be before. So there's this alertness in Lagos that the military, they are around, and kind of they know that the military is not in support of the APC.
How sure are you? Are these allegations or they are factual?
Okay, so 3 weeks ago, the military went under the bridges in Lagos to raid. They caught all the young guys that normally will hang around those bridges at night, because those are the people they use to snatch ballot buses. So over 300 of them, the military personnel arrested them. So I will say the street of Lagos, when I mean the street, I mean the hoodlums in Lagos, they are aware that they are military personnel in Lagos. So they are in their.
Okay, so while we're still trying to wait for Anilaju to come back on us, Barrister, we're still talking about security presence and what that will do for the elections going forward. Now, it has been established that with all of the security presence, is just to let people know or have build some kind of assurances towards a peaceful elections. But beyond that, don't you also think that people will be scared, to their wits to come out to do, carry out their civic responsibility?
You have said that the mere fact that you find soldiers with bullets strapped around their bodies and
are they even supposed to be having bullets around their bodies?
Assault rifles. Well, you can't carry a gun without bullets. That's part of the ammunition. But you see, the Nigerian society is a militarized society, and elections like this heighten the issue of this militarization. Before now, the issue of internal security is for the intelligence agencies and then the police. Okay. The soldiers are meant to defend the territorial integrity of this nation, not to be trotting the streets, street corners. So now you find them everywhere. And in fact, I'm surprised that in Lagos, going by what the comments from the guests there, that the army is against the APC for whatever reason. That's what he said, that now the APC are sure that the army is harvesting hoodlums from the street. I don't know who qualifies as hoodlum. I don't live in Lagos. I don't come from Lagos. But if you scoop 300 people from the street under whatever guise, and it is now known that that is targeted at the political party, it means you have taken off 300, probably 300 voters. You have disenfranchised at least 300 voters, if those figures are anything to go by. They may be less, they may be a lot more. But you see, the fact that you have security agents now carrying out acts which are targeted at a particular set of people, particular section of society, particular participants in this election.
No, that's the part that
Defeats-
Victor
defeats
Anilaju
the
has
whole
not been
essence.
able to clarify. Now, how do we even know that these thugs are APC thugs? You know, so they could just be thugs, you know, being used by any political party.
Yeah,
so I think we'll just have to hand it over back to Victor Anilaju. How do we know that these thugs are APC thugs? And they are also used to snatch ballot boxes. I think that's the point I was going to before, you know, your network.
Okay, so it's obvious in Lagos that APC is Lagos is the heart of APC. So you could see when the Labour Party did their campaign, they were being attacked. But when APC did their own campaign, nobody attacked anybody. So you should know that when we stay, the army are arresting hoodlums, they're arresting those boys. In 2019, there was a place in Lagos, a particular area, where we have more of the Easterners, where you see people going there to snatch ballot boxes. I'm not forging this. We have videos to back this up. So one of the things that the military are doing is to make sure that if you have to be on the streets, you have a reason to be on the streets. And I want to make you understand that there are intelligent network going on in Lagos, because prior before now, following the antecedent of how elections have been organized in Lagos, elections in Lagos are being organized by oppressing people, right? Disenfranchising people. In fact, last election, there were hoodlums that was waiting for people before they get to their polling units to take their PVC from them. So I could tell you vividly what is going on now in Lagos, and that's why you see the height of military presence so much in Lagos, so that Lagosians, whether they are from the west or east, can easily go to the polling units and cast their votes.
So I'd rather say that the military presence is just to sanitize the environment of hoodlums that would be perceived as threats to the general elections, and not necessarily being targeted at any political party.
I think that, you know, that would be a safe place.
No, the military is not supporting any political party, but we as indigenes of Lagos, we as people who stay in Lagos, we know that APC always prepare hoodlums to attack voters, especially in areas that are not called permitting to see the Yoruba areas, right? If you go towards the Festac areas or Kota areas where you have more of the Easterners, they always have these election suppression there, right? And if you see what is going on, the military people are more in those areas to make sure that every Lagosian, whether you are indigene, whether you are resident in Lagos. I'm so particular about Lagos because to us in Lagos, this is a victory. This is win for us. Our only prayer is that let the election hold tomorrow. If with the level of security now in Lagos, if the election holds tomorrow, we are sure that it's going to be a victory all the way for Lagos. I'm speaking about Lagos right now.
Okay,
so it's not like the military is supporting one party. No, but I think what the military is out to do in Lagos is to make sure that people can go out easily to vote. We are not scared of them. We are not scared of their bullets, their guns. No, we see that in Lagos every other time, right? So if we could face them during the EndSARS, we are not scared of them. We just want them to make sure that there is a peaceful election.
Okay, so this is what I'm going to ask with regards to the presence of the military in Lagos. Well, the allegations are yours. You're the one who's made the allegations against APC. We cannot, you know, verify those allegations at this time. And you said, you say it's an understanding that Lagosians have of the polity of Lagos. Yeah. So we'll leave that with you. But now we are talking about the presence of security forces nationwide for the prosecution of the general elections. If we already have this amount of security presence only dispatched to Lagos at this time, I mean 21 hours to the general election, we have that much presence in Lagos as a whole and in certain areas that you say are hotspots of security threat. What's your overview about how, you know, the security will be able to cover grounds nationwide in this very transitional election? Are we not
Okay,
are we
so
not scared that we are going to have concentration of the military in some states and in some areas and have limited hands covering in other parts of the nation?
so let's discuss like Nigerians.
All
The
right.
obvious is that there is going to be voters oppression against the Easterners. That you will hear some attempts of killing, and which one has been done. I heard that the Labour Party candidate in one of the eastern states was killed, right? There's going to be this massive attack against the Easterners, maybe because of their candidate, because of the Labour Party candidate.
Okay, so let's even go further. But before we go further, I just want to say this: if you're trying to call us, we are not going to be taking calls right now. So do well to just send a text message or a WhatsApp message. Of course, we'll get to you know, read out your opinion or question or whatever it is you want to share with us. But let's even talk about the political parties. I like the fact that Victor Aniladju has been able to, you know, push us to that corner where we have to talk about political parties. Now, in Nigeria before now, there's been the, you know, if you're not voting for the ruling party, you're voting for the opposition party. So, and we've seen that even international communities are even recognizing the fact that there is a change in the trajectory, you know, of the political landscape in Nigeria. Now, did the third force, which everybody's talking about, did it come as a surprise to you, Barrister?
Well, we have three, by my own estimation, three political parties who are capable of, who are well positioned to make impact across the nation. You have other political parties who have regional strengths, strengths in one or two states, strengths in one or two regions, and so therefore whatever impact it would make on the outcome of the general elections would be limited to where the areas of major strength. But I think that there are three major political parties who probably would make a showing in across the country, which is the PDP and then the APC and then the Labour Party. So I would take it that the Labour Party is the third force you're talking about. Yes, definitely. The rising profile of the presidential candidate of the Labour Party has been quite phenomenal. As an individual, I probably didn't expect him to come this far. It just shows that Nigerians have yearned, or many Nigerians have yearned for something different. You know, we've had the experience of the PDP since 1999, and then that was interrupted in 2015 with the APC. And then there are probably a lot more people who also think that we should look away from these two major political parties, and that's what is giving steam to the Peter Obi candidature. How far that would go and translate to an electoral fortune will be determined in a few days' time. But I'm worried, you know, that there are decisions that are being taken in this country that seem to place political parties, certain political parties, at a disadvantage. I still have to go back to the case of Lagos State, and that, just like Victor said, what is also happening in the Southeast. You have killings going on in the Southeast. The question is, are these killings politically motivated? We have had this more or less intractable security breakdown in the Southeast for running into some years now, leading to the proscription of the IPOB. And then you have what they call the Eastern Security Network, you have the IBB, whatever, and so on and so forth. All manner of contraption of, you know, groups more or less causing mayhem in the area. And so it's difficult to say that if you have a Labour Party candidate who's been killed, that it is politically motivated or he's been attacked by opponents. So we can only place that at the doorstep of those who have, prior to this time, been carrying out these security breaches. But going back to the case of Lagos, you know, I think that if we have security deployment to maintain security of lives and property, even if you want to be proactive, you don't come into my bedroom and arrest me and say, well, either because you look like a thug or you have propensities that will suggest that you are a thug. So I should get you off the street, get you out of your house and to some detention center. You know, I think that if we're going to have deployments for preservation of security, that would come days before the election, then on the date of the election, and then after the election. It would be unfair for you to go to certain areas where you think that a particular political party has strongholds or has a concentration of its members, then you brand them as thugs or brand them as hoodlums, and then take them off the streets. Because you think, you know, like he has said, that in the past, this has been the practice. You can't criminalize people by speculation. You just look at someone and say, look, from the way you look, I have a feeling that you are most likely going to become a criminal. You can't do that. It is not about speculation. The act of criminality is physical. It is only when there is a physical and outward display, then you can begin to think of the mental state of the person who is engaging in crime. We don't just suggest that, oh, every other person who you find at the bus stop is a criminal.
So for you, it's wrong that the military is,
I think,
you know,
yeah,
taking off those people
I
from
have
the
said,
streets.
I have said, in fact, I saw that on Channels Television a few days ago when the commander said, oh, from about 1 a.m. or so, we went to certain areas of Lagos and scooped about 100 people, and then they have this simultaneous operation in a couple more areas in Lagos.
They've
State.
also said there's been a busting of hideouts of criminals
Yeah.
in the past couple of days.
No, but you see, that is fine. If you have criminal elements, if you have areas, for instance, in Akwa Ibom State, there are places you almost cannot walk into freely, even in the daytime, because of the fear that, look, it is suspected that you have people who go. But you see, criminality is not, or criminals cannot be said to be an arm of a political party.
Okay, Barrister,
So
I think you've made your point on the issue of security now and the fact that the military is just scooping people off the streets. But let's even look at the political parties, their strengths now. One thing that has continually trailed, you know, the APC party, one of it is that is the Muslim ticket, you know, that they flew from the beginning, and there are so many other allegations that have trailed their presidential candidates, you know. And we look at the People's Democratic Party now, you find out that there's been that internal crisis even in the party, which up till tomorrow they've not been able to solve. And then we come back to even the third force that everybody says there's a rise in third force, which is the Labour Party. We find out that there's the whole, oh, they do not have a structure, they're structureless and all of that. So let us even look at the strengths. Let's not also
we also
forget
have some of their members leaving from the Labour
from
Party,
the Labour Party
APC and all of that.
at the nick of time. Now the NNPP at the other side, Kwankwaso, whether we like it or not, he wields some kind of influence and power, you know, in northern Nigeria. So let's put him in the mix and say we're looking at 4 major political parties now. What are their strengths as a build-up to the elections? What chances do they stand? I think I'll come to Victor. Victor, over to you, please.
Okay, so let me say this. Let me say categorically clear. We're in Lagos. Lagos politics is totally different from every other state. You need to be in Lagos for you to understand the dynamics of Lagos politics, right? Now, for going into the parties, this is what we have seen so far. Even in the heart, Lagos, which is the heart of APC, I always will say that so that people will understand where we're coming from. Lagos is the heart of APC. The Labour Party is still leading. If you ask people, this is not online survey. Go to the street and ask people. You will hear a lot. Ask people who have voters card, majority, like 6 out of 8 will tell you they are voting for the Labour Party, right? Now that is if the election is going to hold tomorrow, and if they're going to make sure every one voter is being accredited using the BVAS. We heard that there's a rumor of in case the BVAS does not work, they can use a manual form, and which we are saying no to it. BVAS must work in every part of the country. If it doesn't work tomorrow, they can wait. We can wait till Sunday again. If it doesn't work Sunday, we are still going to wait. We want to make sure everybody that will vote in this presidential election must be accredited using the BVAS method. With the BVAS method and election holding tomorrow, there is possibility that the Labour Party will emerge winner when it comes to the presidential election tomorrow. Whatever is going on
That's in
APC,
Lagos State. You're saying now, Abi? Is in Lagos State.
we're using Lagos State as a case study. Now, if we can beat APC in the heart of Lagos, for every other state, it's going to fly. Right? We already know that the southeast and the south, and that is why you see a lot of attack towards the southeast. The southeast and the south is already taken by Labour
Okay,
Party,
so
right?
Barrister, please just chip in here, because we are trying to compare the strengths of these political parties. But Victor Anilaju directly
is saying Labour Party has a strong strength right now.
Please.
So what's your opinion?
Well, I wouldn't know.
Any other political party, anyway.
I also like the fact that he says that the politics in Lagos is local. I think by extrapolation, all politics is local. I don't know how many people in Akwa Ibom State would give the Labour Party a chance to win the elections. I don't know about even in the Southeast. And like I said, I don't know who is attacking Labour Party candidates in the Southeast. Are they being attacked by APC people? Are they being attacked by PDP people? Or they are just being attacked by indigenous criminal elements? If that is the case, then it means that every other political party stands at a risk, of being attacked or there being some disruptions to the process. So I may not be able to say that in Lagos the APC would win, or in Akwa Ibom the PDP would win. I just saw this morning that one of the House of Reps candidates in Rivers State has been arrested with about I think about $500,000 in cash. And the report is that, this is money that has been given to him by the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party to run elections in Rivers State. And his picture is there, his poster is there, and there is the large catch of, dollars. Of course, there is no naira, thanks to
Godwin Emefiele.
Godwin Emefiele, the former presidential aspirant of the All Progressives Congress.
The governor of Central Bank.
Yes, the current governor of Central Bank. I'm also saying that he was the former presidential aspirant of the All Progressives Congress.
Go ahead.
Yes, in the last elections. Yes.
Well, let me even take that to Victor Anilaju because of his expertise in fintech. Victor, do you think that we are talking about vote buying also? It's been a great conversation. Do you think that dollars might somehow thrive in this race at this point? I mean, that's a big discovery right now. And if Naira is unavailable because of the redesigned policy on ground, do you think that there are some politicians that will go the extra mile to spend dollars on our soil as a way of buying votes tomorrow?
Yes, as at yesterday in Lagos, dollar rose to about 7.75, 7.80. So there was a great demand. There has been great demand for dollar since on Tuesday, and we have seen that even in the banks. So bank will tell you we can only pay you 10,000, but if you have dollar in your account, your bank can allow you to withdraw $2,000, and $2,000 is about 1.4 million naira in the black market. So you can see that where they cannot give you naira of 20,000 naira, they can give you $2,000. So now the politicians are now shifting to dollars, right? But the other part of it is that even the abokis, the black markets, don't even have the naira to give to you. So they will be pushed to start sharing like $1 or $10.
Okay, very quickly now, because of time, I think our time is up. But Barrister, let me quickly ask this question, because it's one of the things you've pointed out recently when we talk about rigging, and you say that there's a grand plot to rig Ikot Ekpene senatorial district elections. So let's talk about rigging generally in just a couple of seconds, if you can put us through that.
Yeah, in addition to rigging, there are also other mediums of exchange. There is now trade by barter. I can't give you naira, but I have small bag of rice. I have few cubes of Maggi, and then I have wrapper. So that's also going on. So this
Is that what's happening in Ikot Ekpene right now?
This is going on all over the place.
Okay.
It's going on also in Akwa Ibom State, for instance. But in Ikot Ekpene District, information reaching me is that the BVAS machines. This is surprising, and this is also serious. That the BVAS machines that have been deployed or that are to be deployed for use in Ikot Ekpene District have been compromised. Now, these reports are unconfirmed. How do you confirm it? We would have to wait till the morning of the elections, and then we can have a physical assessment and inspection of these machines. But very credible information available to us is that the machines, all the machines to be deployed in the Ikot Ekpene District have been. But don't forget that right from the first week of January, we had complained about the buying up of voters' cards. We had also complained about the fact that the agents, ad hoc staff who were to be used for the elections have actually been replaced by those who are nominated by the state government and so on and so forth. Wow. And then there is this complicity of the INEC ICT staff in colluding with the party in power in Akwa Ibom State. And
so we absolutely have to kill this.
Those are issues.
We absolutely have to kill this. Thank you so much, Victor and Iladu. We have killed that time. And thank you so much, Barrister Imo. We wish we had enough time, but thank you for your time. And let's see at the elections tomorrow, and we'll definitely have more conversations next week. All right. So thank you very much.
You so much.
My name is Iyaneka, and we'll definitely see you again next week. It's all the best at the polls tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. My name is Janice Cobham. See you again when the studios or election studios of Spectrum Television will open by 1 o'clock. Of course, Victor and Iladu, you can also join us on that studio. But we'll definitely see you again next week, and we hope that we have a peaceful and successful elections. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.